The Book of Daniel, Chapter 2, Nebuchadnezzar Dreams. And in the 2nd year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams, wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep brake from him. Then the king commanded to call the magicians, and the astrologers, and the sorcerers, and the Chaldeans, for to show the king his dreams. So they came and stood before the king. And the king said unto them, I have dreamed a dream, and my spirit was troubled to know the dream. Then spake the Chaldeans to the king in Syriac, O king, live forever. Tell thy servants the dream, and we will show the interpretation. The king answered and said to the Chaldeans, The thing is gone from me. If ye will not make known unto me the dream with the interpretation thereof, ye shall be cut in pieces, and your houses shall be made a dunghill. But if ye show the dream and the interpretation thereof, ye shall receive of me gifts and rewards and great honor. Therefore show me the dream and the interpretation thereof. They answered again and said, Let the king tell his servants the dream, and we will show the interpretation of it. The king answered and said, I know of certainty that ye would gain the time, because ye see the thing is gone from me. But if ye will not make known unto me the dream, there is but one decree for you. For ye have prepared lying and corrupt words to speak before me, till the time be changed. Therefore tell me the dream, and I shall know that ye can show me the interpretation thereof. The Chaldeans answered before the king and said, There is not a man upon the earth that can show the king's matter. Therefore there is no king, lord, nor ruler that asks such things at any magician or astrologer or Chaldean. And it is a rare thing that the king requireth, and there is none other that can show it before the king, except the gods whose dwelling is not with flesh. For this cause the king was angry and very furious, and commanded to destroy all the wise men of Babylon. And the decree went forth that the wise men should be slain, and they sought Daniel and his fellows to be slain. The dream is revealed to Daniel. Then Daniel answered with counsel and wisdom to Arioch, the captain of the king's guard, which was gone forth to slay the wise men of Babylon. He answered and said to Arioch, the king's captain, Why is the decree so hasty from the king? Then Arioch made the thing known to Daniel. Then Daniel went in and desired of the king that he would give him time, and that he would show the king the interpretation. Then Daniel went to his house and made the thing known to Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, his companions, that they would desire mercies of the Most High Power of heaven concerning this secret, that Daniel and his fellows should not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. Then was the secret revealed unto Daniel in a night vision. Then Daniel blessed the Most High Power of heaven. Daniel answered and said, Blessed be the name of the Most High Power forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. And he changed the times and the seasons. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise, and knowledge to them that know understanding. He revealeth the deep and secret things. He knoweth what is in the darkness, and the light that dwelleth with him. I thank thee and praise thee, O thou, my power of my fathers, who hast given me wisdom and might, and hast made known unto me now what we desired of thee. For thou hast now made known unto us the king's matter. Therefore Daniel went in unto Arioch, whom the king had ordained to destroy the wise men of Babylon. He went in and said thus unto him, Destroy not the wise men of Babylon. Bring me in before the king, and I will show unto the king the interpretation. Then Arioch brought in Daniel before the king in haste, and said thus unto him, I have found a man of the captives of Judah, that will make known unto the king the interpretation. The king answered and said to Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar, Art thou able to make known unto me the dream which I have seen, and the interpretation thereof? Daniel answered in the presence of the king and said, The secret which the king has demanded cannot the wise men, the astrologers, the magicians, the soothsayers show unto the king? But there is a power in heaven that revealeth secrets, and maketh known to the king Nebuchadnezzar what shall be in the latter days, thy dream, and the visions of thy head upon thy bed. And these, as for thee, O king, thy thoughts came into thy mind upon thy bed, what should come to pass hereafter, and he that revealeth secrets make known to thee what should come to pass. But as for me, the secret is not revealed to me for any vision that I have more than any living, but for their sakes that shall make known the interpretation to the king, and that thou mightest know the thoughts of thy heart. The dream. Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. The image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and brake them to pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain, and filled the whole earth. This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the most high power of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven hath he given into thine hand, and hath made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold. And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, forasmuch as iron breaketh into pieces and subdueth all things. And as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of the potter's clay, and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of iron, forasmuch as thou sawest the iron mixed with merry clay. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with merry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. And in the days of these kings shall the most high power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break into pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it brake into pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great power of heaven hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter. And the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. Daniel's advancement. Then the king Nebuchadnezzar fell upon his face and worshipped Daniel. Whew! Let me say that again, y'all. That's the book of Daniel, chapter 2, verses 46. Daniel's advancement. Then the king Nebuchadnezzar fell upon his face and worshipped Daniel, and commanded that they should offer an oblation and sweet odors unto him. The king answered unto Daniel and said, Of a truth it is, that your power is a power of gods, and a lord of kings, and a revealer of secrets, seeing thou couldst reveal this secret. Then the king made Daniel a great man, and gave him many great gifts, and made him ruler over the whole province of Babylon, and chief of the governors over all the wise men of Babylon. What does this sound like, y'all? Doesn't this sound like Joseph in Egypt? This sounds like a repeat of Joseph in Egypt. But instead of Joseph in Egypt, it's Daniel in Babylon. All praise to the power of Israel. And you know what else this sounds like, y'all? This sounds like the three men in First Esdras. You remember First Esdras when the king called on the three men, and the three men gave their speech of what was strongest: wine, women, or the king. But then they all came to an agreement that even though all those things were strong, that truth is the strongest among all those things. And after that, they were able to make all kind of requests to the king, and the king was granting them. You know what I'm saying? And one of the requests was that they were able to restore the temple of the Most High Power. You know what I'm saying? And this sounds like the same thing, because once we get the king's approval, then we could call in our boys, and our boys are the Hebrew Israelites. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, well, let me call my people from this village and that village, you know what I'm saying, so they can help me restore what was lost, or restore what was not here before. And that's the same thing Daniel did, because once the king Nebuchadnezzar gave Daniel all those gifts and praise, then Daniel started making requests like, hold on, let me bring my people, you know what I'm saying? Let me bring my people up in here so they could be with me, and I won't feel alone, you know what I'm saying? And that's what it says in verse 49, the last verse of the book of Daniel, chapter 2. Then Daniel requested of the king, and he set up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego over the affairs of the province of Babylon. But Daniel sat in the gate of the king. And y'all know that same Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, those are just the same names for Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, aka Daniel's boys, or Daniel's fellow Judites. And that's how it should be, y'all. Whenever we get into a higher position, we got to bring our own with us, because if we don't bring our own with us and we just a single man, it's going to be tough, you know what I'm saying? Just like in this walk is tough, especially doing it alone. But we're such in the last days that is literally, in some places, in some cities, some towns, is literally impossible. If you don't have internet access, it's literally impossible to link up with fellow Hebrew Israelites. You know what I'm saying? Because literally nobody, the Most High is a genius when he set up this plan, because literally nobody is trying to get back right with the Most High Power of Israel. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is such in a vain mindset, you know what I'm saying? A pointless, vain mindset of it's all about me. It's all about getting on this social media platform, getting on that social media platform, becoming famous so quick, making memes, you know what I'm saying? Making updates every day that hundreds of thousands of people watch, you know what I'm saying? That's not of the Most High Power of Israel. And this is going on every day. It's kind of like a newfound version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, you know what I'm saying? I mean, literally, you got teens that can become millionaires overnight just by making a meme, making a YouTube channel. It's just ridiculous. But then they're part of the beast system, because in order to continue to get paid from YouTube, they got to do certain things that's required of for YouTube's sake. You know what I'm saying? Why y'all think most of these, big time influencers that got over 1 million subscribers, they always got to throw up that okay sign? What you think that's all about? That just cannot be coincidence that everybody and their mama that got over 1 million subs, before every video, they got to throw up the okay sign. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I ain't no conspiracy theorist here. Now, onto the fun part. Trying to decode Daniel chapter 2 the best way I can, or the best of my abilities. You know what I'm saying? And this is, again, my opinion. This is not concrete evidence. This is not concrete prophecy or none of that, bro. This is just me as a normal 9-to-5 working man trying to break down scripture as a bloodline Hebrew Israelite, which is my obligation and duty. So, the book of Daniel chapter 2, first of all, let's start with verse 42. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seeds of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. So that was verses 42 and 43. So what I get off of that is basically Babylon. You know what I'm saying? Because back then Babylon was Babylon. You know what I'm saying? That was the first Babylon, kingdom of Babylon, the head of gold. That was Nebuchadnezzar's kingdom. But again, y'all know how history repeats itself, right? So just as there was a Babylon back then, there's a Babylon now. Just as there was a Rome back then, there's a Rome now. Just like there was Medes, Persians, and Grecians back then, there's Medes, Persians, and Grecians now. So now that we got that out the way, we know that Babylon back then was actual Babylon. Babylon today, in my opinion, the USA. And as we look on this picture right here, the feet of iron and clay is the kingdom of the restored Rome. The legs of iron is the kingdom of ancient Rome. So the feet and iron of clay is the Rome of today. You know what I'm saying? And basically it's trying to say right here in verse 42, and as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. Meaning that that's where the kingdom breaks down. When it breaks down from the toes and feet, once that breaks down, the whole building falls up under it. You know what I'm saying? Or the whole statue falls under the feet and the toes. What does that mean? Who runs America? Rome. Rome runs America. You know what I'm saying? Rome is the original eagle. America is the eagle, but Rome is the original eagle. Basically, all I'm trying to say is that when Rome falls, America falls with her. They all fall together. You know what I'm saying? So again, this is my opinion, but my strong opinion is that before the United States falls or crashes, Rome is going to crash first, causing America to crash. Just as you see, America is the gold head, you know what I'm saying? Rome is the toes and the feet. So whenever the toes and the feet crush, the head is gonna fall with it. So again, y'all, we have to keep our eyes on Rome. We have to keep our eyes on what Rome is doing. Yes, we have to always keep our eyes on the United States because this is Babylon the Great. But at the same time, before Babylon the Great's destruction, we have to see why, what caused it, what's going on in Rome, what's going on out there with the Pope and all that. And this is my favorite verse right here. That's in chapter 2 of Daniel, is verse 43. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with merry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. So all their policies that they're throwing at us, you know what I'm saying, constantly throwing policies at us, changing policies, throwing policies, changing policies, that's what's making that's the clay right there. You know what I'm saying? The iron is the actual place, but the clay is the constant changing of rules and regulations. That's what makes it unstable. That's what makes it eventually break down. But what's the biochemistry version of all that, of the word form, of the changing of policies, the changing of rules? What's the bio version of that? You got it. Is that juice that everybody, you know what I'm saying, wanted to take to keep their employment and all that. You know what I'm saying? Right here it says, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. That was the whole goal. They're trying to infuse with the seed of men. They're trying to change up some form of our identity within the inside, which is, if y'all didn't know by now, the Most High's temple. You know what I'm saying? Every human being is a living, breathing, walking image of the Most High's temple. So in verse 43 of chapter 2, what is the iron mixed with merry clay? What is that iron that's mixed with merry clay? What's the merry clay? The merry clay is the human being. How was Adam made? Adam was made from the dust of the earth, right? That merry clay is you and me. What's the iron? The iron is that synthetic BS that they put up in that whatever, you know what I'm saying, that's now trying to fuse within the biochemistry of us. So their wicked plans of what they're trying to do to the insides of human beings is not going to work. You know what I'm saying? It's just not going to work. And let's see why it's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? We're going to segue. So let's continue. Let's read verse 43 and then add in verse 44. And then after that, we're going to jump to Revelations to segue or paraphrase. You know what I'm saying? So verse 43 again. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. Verse 44. And in the days of these kings shall the most high power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. Let me say that again. And in the days of these kings shall the most high of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. All praise. Now from Daniel chapter 2 verse 44, we're going to segue to the book of Revelations, the last verse, well, the last two verses of chapter 20, verse 14 and 15 of chapter 20, and the first verse of chapter 21. You know what I'm saying? And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. Chapter 21, a new heaven and a new earth. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. So, that same heaven that's talked about in verse 44, and in the days of the kings, Daniel chapter 2 verse 44, and in the days of these kings shall the most high power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. You know what I'm saying? What kingdom is that? Segueing to Revelation chapter 21, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. There it is right there, y'all. That's the new Jerusalem. That's the new kingdom. That's the same kingdom talked about in Daniel chapter 2 verses 44 right there. That's the kingdom, the new Jerusalem. All praise to the power of the Son of Man, Abraham, Isaac, and all of Israel. Father, I am that I am, and his only begotten Son, the Son of Man, the Redeemer, the one that gives all of us strength to be able to endure during Jacob's trouble, because all that power and strength was given to the Son of Man from the Most High power of Israel. All praise. Israel, keep your head up and your faith strong. Hopefully I did a good, breaking down of Daniel chapter 2. I did it to the best of my abilities. Again, I'm only one man. I know a whole lot of congregations, churches, camps. They make 2-3 hour videos breaking down Daniel chapter 2. All praise. Shalom. Amen.